This is Tyler McPeak, and in this video I'll be discussing the concept of killer languages. Killer languages is a term that pops up frequently in the various literature, video, and media related to the linguistic subfield of language documentation and language endangerment. Killer languages might be defined as dominant languages, the spread of which, for a variety of different reasons, can result in the death of the minority or indigenous languages in a given area. The picture on this slide is taken from the movie The Linguists. There are two professors in the movie The Linguists, and they are very much interested in endangered languages. They would be regarded as language documentation experts. They go to far corners of the world to document endangered languages before they go extinct or before they die, and also give commentary, useful commentary on the reasons for death of languages. They're very much in favor of trying to save languages or document languages, as linguists who work in this field typically are. This would be recommended viewing for anybody who's interested in these topics. And in fact, one of the linguists in the movie makes the very telling statement that, I paraphrase, he can't understand why anyone would want to spend their career documenting the syntax of French, a language with millions of speakers, when the skills that you possess could help document a language that will go extinct in your lifetime. And in this picture we can see Dr. Gregory Anderson, one of the linguists from the movie, talking with a Chulim man in Siberia. In this case, Russian is the killer language, which is resulting through its dominance in the disappearance of the minority Chulim language of Siberia. This is a slide of different languages that might be regarded as the quote-unquote usual suspects of languages that are likely to be considered to be killer languages. They are languages that have resulted in, the spread of which has resulted in the death of different languages around the world. English tops the list as the global lingua franca and a language of great economic incentive that, for a variety of different reasons, has usurped different indigenous and native languages around the world, starting with the indigenous languages of America, those of the Native American Indians, and Spanish, likewise, as a language of early sea exploration, specifically in Latin America, but also in Spain, is slowly resulting and has resulted in the death of indigenous languages in Latin America, those common to the native and indigenous populations of the Andes Mountains, for one. Likewise, Portuguese has resulted, the spread of which has resulted through its spread in the death of different languages in the Amazon jungle area. Mandarin Chinese is another language that has resulted in the slow bleed and less use of different languages that were indigenous to minority languages of different areas of China, which are sometimes called dialects of Chinese, despite them not being typologically similar to Mandarin Chinese, so somewhat of a misnomer. However, Chinese clearly has spread as the lingua franca of China and even some of the surrounding areas. So Mandarin Chinese has been a force for the less and less use of other languages in mainland China. Russian is one of the languages, along with Spanish and Hindi in India, that are featured in the Linguist movie. And as the previous slide showed, Russian resulted in the death of at least one language, which is nearly gone, apart from a handful of speakers, called Chulim in Siberia. French also has spread through economic imperative to areas like Africa and areas of North America, and resulted in the death of different indigenous languages in those areas. And basically any language, regardless of its size or amount of speakers, even if it doesn't rise to the level of the other languages on this slide, any language that offers economic incentives to minority and indigenous peoples to stop speaking their own language and stop teaching it to the younger generations can be regarded as a killer language. And so, generally speaking, what are the reasons for language death? Well, a killer language is frequently involved, regardless of the initial motivation for people to stop speaking their language and to begin speaking another or teaching a different language than their native language to their children. Of course, the death of all native speakers is by definition language death, but this can happen for a variety of different reasons, that the native speakers become less and less in number as a population. Economic incentives is a major one. Many of the languages on the previous slide have provided economic incentives for people in certain areas to stop speaking and teaching their language to their children. Often this is through different sorts of imperialist or organic processes of financial markets and economic incentives. Natural disaster is another reason that frequently results in the death of a language. In some cases, very few people speak a language in a coastal region of a certain area. An entire tribe of people who speak a certain language may be wiped out by a single tsunami or other type of natural disaster, earthquake, etc. Man-made disasters, such as war, can be another reason for language death, and frequently is. People can be displaced, scattered, and end up not keeping their native language due to dispersal, displacement, and death of speakers through violent conflict. Ecological changes can be another reason. This ecology can be cultural ecology as well as environmental ecology, whereby a given language, much like a plant species, can no longer survive in the climate that it finds itself. Not always one usurping or killer language coming and taking it over, but sometimes a variety of different factors together that attributes to the ecology that the language needs to survive, and it as a result goes extinct. Cultural clash and cultural contact can be another reason, whereby regardless of economics, certain cultural, such as religious clashes between peoples, which may not result in war, but are reason enough for people to start to give up a language, either consciously or over time through an unconscious process. And lastly, political factors, including language ideology and language policy of all kinds, can result in the death of languages. Many of the reasons that have been outlined here are reasons that frequently involve at least one killer language, as of course people continue to have a language even when they give up their native language, and frequently what we find is languages such as those on the previous slide are that which has taken its place. This is what is referred frequently in a variety of literature on language endangerment and in popular movies and even newspaper and magazine articles as killer languages. This has been Tyler McPeak for the Florida Linguistics Association. Please visit us for more great linguistics content at floridalinguistics.com. Thank you.